Good morning and happy blessed Friday. I'm over here giggling because I'm thinking about a conversation I had with someone when I was in a relationship with them, and I asked him, I said, "Do you trust me?" And his response was kind of perplexing when I thought about it, um, really off-putting. And he said, I trust you to be who you are." Something along the lines of that. And I think I was a little tripped up. I was like, well, what the hell does that mean? Um, and if, thinking about it, it makes me think about like, are you with or around people you feel like you can trust? And if you're not, then why are you around them and with them? Um, that conversation and that relationship got me thinking, and I was thinking to myself, you trust me enough to be myself, or trust me enough to be who you are. And it made me think about how people only give you, for the most part, bits and pieces of who they are, um, based off of, I guess, knowing you well enough. And then if I think about it on another level, maybe there was some fear of judgment there. That if I knew everything, or you knew everything about the person you were with, would you still want to be around them, be with them, be in their presence? Um, and here's where being your authentic self comes into play. That there are things in your life, and decisions that you've made, some that as an adult now that you might think about, you probably aren't proud of, or they didn't necessarily turn out the way that you thought they would, or represent who you are today. And that's fine. I think everyone makes a few, not so wise decisions when you're younger, but that's part of exploring and understanding who you are. And so you will make some decisions that um, impact you, someone you love, someone you care about, um, in an unkind way. But what do you learn from that? I think the consequence of learning something is sometimes losing someone who you really love and care about, because you weren't honest, or because you lied, or because your representative was discovered, right? And so when I think about people in my life that I feel like I can trust, I know I've said it before, there's consistency, there's communication, um, there's definitely honesty. And honesty for me is telling the truth, even if it might hurt, but just being honest. That helps me to really see people. Like, I can see you if you can say, you know what, I messed up. Um, but when people take away someone else's power by lying and deciding to tell them um, a different version, which isn't true, because they know a person's morals, boundaries, values, just to keep them around, um, that's not cool. Um, and I think a lot of people do it. I think they do it because they don't want to lose. But again, you will lose because your representative can only hang out for so long until your true colors show. And so the people in your life are the people who you want to be able to trust. You want to be able to be vulnerable, honest, transparent with, and feel like that you can be at your best self, or you could be at your worst self, and they won't judge you. They'll continue to love you, and maybe give you some encouragement, give you some insight. But to continue to lie, or to be inconsistent and untrustworthy, I think speaks more to and about the person and less about you. I am a very forgiving person, almost to a fault. It gets to a point where I'm just like, if it's too much, then I have to walk away, because then that starts to press on my personal values and limits and boundaries. Um, that if I say, okay, hey, I don't like it when you do this, or I thought you said you were about this, but then it turns out that you're not about that. How do you trust someone that either continues to overstep boundaries or continues to lie or pretend to be someone or something that they're not? It's not a good feeling at all. I think the best feeling at all and the most freeing feeling is to feel like that you can be your true self, and that the person that you're with and around um, is the same way. And so we're talking about trust, and we're talking about, for me, like consistency, communication, being able to depend on, being able to lean on, being able to trust, be honest, be true. Those are the things that I value and I feel make me feel connected, make me feel like I can trust someone, and it adds depth to a relationship. So when you have depth to a relationship, I think it starts and begins with like just telling your story from the perspective that only you have, being honest about the impact that your life experiences have had, and what you learn from them, and have you been able to implement any positive change from that, or have you felt right in line with the things that you know are wrong, but because they feel like they're working, you continue to walk that path, knowing that the cost to pay will be more than you can afford. Thank you for listening. I love you. Happy Blessed Friday.